Good evening and welcome to Swoop the U. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Thaisa Sauer.
Today we'll take an inside look at some of the videos produced by students here at the University of Utah.
First, we'll look at The Bench, the story of a man, a woman, and a bench, made by Slacker Productions. Is it the beginning of a one-night stand or a romance made to last? You be the judge.
How adorable. It's always nice to see when love works out.
Next, we have a short film from A Perfect Production. What happens when a sleepover goes wrong? Well, let's find out.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die. Now you're going to die.
I'm glad I wasn't at that sleepover.
Yeah, me too.
And now it's time for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Swoop the U. Next up, iCool Productions gives us a glimpse at the world of beauty pageants through the eyes of one contestant who believes that true beauty is what we make it.
We sat down with beauty pageant contestant Evangeline Steele to learn more about the world of pageantry and how she first became interested in competing.
I was actually watching Miss USA when I was about 8 years old, and then that moment I decided, I was like, I'm gonna do that someday. It just looked so fun to just wear a really pretty dress and be on stage, and all the girls just had such confidence, and I just admired that.
Evangeline tells us about pageants she has competed in and the extensive preparation involved.
I competed in Miss Utah USA 2012 as Miss Sugar House USA, and then I competed in Miss Utah USA 2013 as Miss Salt Lake City USA. And then I also competed in a couple smaller pageants, Miss Utah Collegiate and Utah Princess America. Well, I did the Miss Utah USA pageant, and they provide a lot of workshops for you. And they teach you how to do your makeup, how to do your hair, how to walk, so they really prep you for it before the pageant starts. So that's where I learned.
Evangeline feels that the media drastically affects the public's view of beauty and explains her personal motivation for competing.
In the media, you really only, the biggest models are like size 4, like that's a big model. So just on a daily basis, we only see the very small girls doing stuff like this. And I think people just associate pageants with being super tiny and kind of like a model physique. But really there's no actual requirements about that. Anyone can do it. So I think if any size should feel like they have the opportunity to compete. Part of the reason I did it is I really think that girls who are a little bit bigger should feel good about themselves and still know that they're beautiful. Like I'm a size 12, 14, and I think my body's fine. I don't think it's something I should be ashamed of. So part of the reason I did the pageant was just to show that I can do this too, and I'm just as beautiful as these other girls, and there's nothing wrong with the size I am. I feel like it really boosted my confidence. It taught me how to carry myself better. It just made me feel really good about myself. For me, it was a very uplifting experience.
Evangeline explains that while anyone can compete, contestants should do so for their own reasons. By so doing, they reap lasting benefits, including lifelong friendships.
I think anyone that wants to do a pageant should just go for it, not feel afraid to try something new. It's a really good experience, and I've learned a lot from pageants. I definitely think it's something that you should do when you're older and you do it for yourself. Like I was never pushed into it, I chose to compete. My experience, it was really great. I made a lot of good friends. I want to compete next year in the Miss Utah USA 2015 pageant.
When her competition days are over, Evangeline plans to stay involved in the pageantry world in other ways to help other young women enjoy the same fulfillment she has felt.
Well, I really want to go into the directing side of pageants. I want to be a pageant director someday. It's a lot of stress. It's worth it though. Being on stage is it feels so fun. Just having your moment where you're on stage, you look fabulous and everyone's looking at you. It's just, you're a rock star for 30 seconds.
What a fascinating insight into the world of beauty pageants.
Indeed. Last up on today's show, Slacker Productions shows us Dan John, a strength trainer and an author who has an interesting take on what true strength and success is all about.
Let's do our 15 right now. My name is Dan John. I'm a college professor and a weightlifting coach, and I write books and articles for Men's Health and Outside Magazine, and I have several books with another book coming out very soon. I'm a strength training. I'm really good at teaching people to get strong. My brothers went out to Sears and bought a Ted Williams weightlifting bar, 110 pounds, and they started lifting in the garage, and I thought to myself, one day I'll lift the bar with those big 15-pound plates on it. When I went on to college, I met Dick Notmeyer, and in the first 4 months I was with him, I put on 40 pounds of body weight. And that's when my whole life changed. I went from being a pretty good discus thrower to, a national level thrower. Over time, I just started noticing that this stuff I knew, like, well, everyone knows this. Most people didn't know it. And the more the fitness industry has exploded, I would say the amount of nonsense is here and the amount of actual truth is somewhere down the middle. Fitness is just the ability to do a task. That's Darwin. And it can be very low end. It doesn't have to be very big a deal. In the fitness industry, we've now defined it as a six-pack abs, and that's nonsense. If you want to throw the discus far, no one cares about your abs. The fundamentals work, the basics work, repetitions work, simple stuff works. All this other nonsense doesn't.
Elbows in. There you go. There you go. Now stand up. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Okay, legs nice and wide. Go. And up. Good.
You'll see with our training that we do, we're always in grand experiments. I mean, we're in the middle of a grand experiment right now, another 10,000 swing challenge. And we're just seeing if it works. And the funny thing is right now we think it does. We'll take a couple of months off and then try a new experiment, because I think that's the role of any mentor or leader in any field. There's a number of other stupid stuff I'd like to take. I think that the Velocity diet, Chris Schugert's 6 protein shakes a day, I like to think I'm part of the reason it became popular. And I'll also apologize to anybody who had to do it for 28 days. Everything that I've ever written on or done, I've done. I've walked the walk first. Before I tell you what to do, I've done it. I've been that frustrated. I've been that injured. I've been that tired. This worked, this didn't, I can tell you that. So in this industry, I got to hold very closely to that little thing, because if I lose my integrity, or what people perceive as my integrity, it's going to be really hard for me to pick that.
What a great story. It clearly takes a lot of work to get that buff.
Well, that does it for this episode of Swoop the U.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Thaisa. Good night.